Hello and welcome to the next episode of this series, which is all this Lego room and of course my life. Now, I'm stupid. This is now turning into a mini-series and it wasn't the intention, but it's just too hot in here to be up here for a long period of time. So we are, as you can tell by the title, trying to make the Harry Potter alleyway work. Now this morning I actually filmed part number 1 and the camera shut off because it was too hot. It's even hotter in here now. Obviously, it's just ridiculous. An attic in the UK just generates a serious amount of heat. So we'll see how long this lasts for before the camera just shuts itself off and I end up starting to cry myself to sleep. But the plan of attack today is carrying on with this. So we won't worry about anything else in the room. We'll just carry on with part number 2 and hopefully it's not going to be a 3-parter because I want to carry on with the Ninjago stuff when it starts to calm down, because that is a different story for a different day. But I did end up falling through a table and I am in the process of rebuilding everything, and then everything on this side is starting to look half decent. All of that on the floor is to do with that project, but we are focusing our attention to here. So before we actually tuck into everything, we did do 1 or 2 different bits and pieces. I did try and spin this round in multiple ways, and I think this is the best way to hide the alleyway in. I did space them the other way round. We had them at the corner, we had them at the angle, and we did loads of other little bits and pieces like that, and I think that's going to work well. It's going to create an L. Now this is all turning into a big theme park. This is obviously our DC section, but we are having a little bit of Easter eggs from the Joker movie, or the Lego Batman movie, should I say. But when Joker goes off to the Phantom Zone and brings back some characters from Harry Potter, and of course Lord of the Rings as well. So that's something I need to think of and think, will that look nice back to back? We've got options now, basically. We've got options, but I just want to get, in this upload now, the back run in the right order. See what we can do with this road and how that works. And I want to move this first to see if this will work behind or not, and then basically crack on and just go from there. So we've got lots to do. All the focus is on this section just here. We'll see if we can add some vehicles in, see if we can get some base plates down, just so we are ready and good to go, and then work out what we can do for future expansion. So with that being said, let's get to it. So I do apologise if I talk quicker than normal. It's so hot in here, I just need to get a load of stuff done before this camera starts to overheat again. It took so long for it to cool down so I could actually carry on. So first thing I want to do, will it work where the police station is, or does it look lost behind the Harry Potter? So like I said, we've got plenty of options with regards to putting bits and pieces everywhere, but I am stood right beside the loft latch and I do not want to fall down. I kicked it enough in episode number 1 of this and I thought I sold it quite well, not anybody realising that I nearly broke my neck, because I think what a lot of people don't understand is I'm stood right by this all the time, and that is the bit that is actually attached to the loft ladders. But will this work over here, as that has just gone flying? I know there's a base plate there, but it can stay there for now. Will this fit? Yes, it does. Does it work there? That's the thing. Right, that base plate is actually now going to cause me grief because it won't slide and I can't reach. Come on. See, never a dull moment. Oh, come on. Stop it. Never a dull moment. No. Come on. Oh my. How is that humanly possible? I can't get that base plate out from underneath there. It's not that difficult, is it? Just get off. Thank you. Oh, stop it. Oh, God, it's too hot for this. Right, we are in. Now, this is going to be a problem, because if this looks good here, I don't know whether to keep it. So, this could, quite simply, tuck into here. We've got the pool bit, we've got this road. This road then would just carry on. Can't get another base plate in there, but we can get one in there, and that was the plan in the first bit. But I just wanted to see what that looks like, because we're trying to create a theme park. Obviously we're adding in rides. Now I think if we get what we were talking about in the first part, which was the addition to the alley, which is obviously Gringotts Bank, I would have it as the ride and that would go there. So it would be taller and then you're not going to see behind it, which is a little bit of a shame because it does work quite nicely there. So the other option is the bank goes in at that corner, this gets taken out, and then we have another modular beside it, and then potentially we could just fit another modular there. So we actually do have quite a lot of space for modulars if that wasn't there. Because I think if I just did that, and obviously just imagine that was tiled and base plated and everything else, I think the next row plate, it should perfectly line up. Yes. So yeah, it'll just line up absolutely fine. So we do have a full-blown connecting road going all the way down there, and obviously it'll just carry on going all the way down on there. I have got the plates from somewhere, and I've got the tiles, so I can do that. I think that's going to have to be in a separate upload. It's far too hot to sit down and put 1,000 little bits and pieces on, even as a time lapse, because this camera will explode as a time lapse. But as nice as that looks just there, and it's not hidden, just don't know if that's the best place for it, because it could just come straight to there. It could be the centerpiece of this display, but is it too far away from the shadow box? Does Wayne Manor, which is obviously Joker Manor, need to be close to the shadow box? Because obviously what this allows us to do, I'm going to put you back down again. I just leave you there and I can just talk without looking at it. It does allow us to do bits and pieces with the other modulars. Now, how we start this modular run off from here, I'm not 100% sure. Now, obviously, the stuff that's there, that all needs to move because that has just been thrown there from, I can't remember what table that was on, to be honest, but like this, for example, you can get, where it's white, obviously would add in a path. So that's easy enough. And then that's base plate number 1. That's clearly base plate number 2. And then that would be base plate number 3. So because you're going to get 3 base plates in, that'll go there, that one will go there, that one would go there, and then that is the space that we've got. And now we're starting to create this really nice street with that over in the background, which, to be honest, does look quite nice. But the only problem I can think of, even though we're trying to layer these different bits and pieces up, is we're going to hide the back of the shadow box. And it is such a gorgeous set. And I can't believe it's been discontinued. It's not been out that long. I'm so glad I got it. It's my best build of last year by an absolute mile. That and the Loop Coaster both are surprisingly very, very good with regards to actually a building experience anyway. But with regards to a layout, it works. It just depends on if we have a row of modulars there and flip it with that and vice versa, because I think we're going to cover that. So the only way to see if we're going to cover that is actually put some in so I can tick the boxes off or not, because I think what I am going to try and do within this upload is actually get the modulars in the correct place, and then we are there or thereabouts, happy in days for everything else. So what you can't see is I'm just moving as per normal, bits and pieces just to grab the next modular. So that'll be the bank, and the restaurant. Right, that is those 3 as a run. you come over to that bit. You've got all of the parking for the Batmobiles. This bit works absolutely fine. We know that's going to work fine because you can even get the car in between, so we can have all of them dotted about. And then we've got the road. I just feel that needs to be closer to that. It works actually, surprisingly, with the layering. It does look very, very smart. And with these being basically 2 modulars back to back, it just works as an L shape. It gives us the shape that we want. And the nice thing is that because we've got this nice road, we can see all the characters from the one side and we can see all the characters from the other. Just gonna think on that for a second because I want to show you this. So this is the plan for here. That fits there fine. It all goes in, the road plates and everything, it all match up once I've pushed it all about and done all the bits and pieces. So of course the options that we have is that Harry Potter set just goes there. Behind it goes the big eyeball because it would actually fit there. And then we probably lose a little bit of the road, and then the road changes to like a little bit of the orangey lava type thing. Which is like the little cheese wedges that I've got. I've got them somewhere, because that's always the plan. Now I have got Rivendell over there. I've got the D&D at the back, which I can't reach until all of this is tidied up. And then obviously I need to get on with the Winter Village display, because that is going to be a permanent thing. So this I think is going to be a very, very long-term project, especially with just how long it's going to take to do. Now the shadow box itself is massive, but obviously it looks fantastic from the back, and I just want to incorporate it as part of a proper display. I've never displayed the city as a city, just imagining it with roads, because obviously that is just going to be wide enough for one of those. Pretty much exact, to be honest. So that would just have a strip. That would just have a strip. As much as I like the look of this as a city feel, it makes no sense these being in front of that when the manor has to be closer than it. Which then leaves us the question of, what is the correct run for the modulars? What do we put where? Because as much as I love the assembly square, and it's the first ever mod, it's the first adult set I bought. And then it's just snowballed into all of this. There's always a set that kicks everything off. That's how nice that set is. And I think, even if you don't agree with the fascia, the internals of it are brilliant. But because it does kick in, and after that building is offset, it allows us to do what we've just done with this. I don't think that would work with any of the other buildings. Like if I put the pet shop just there, for example, you would just lose the fascia, I think. So because it's set back, I can see the green, I can see the roses. And then obviously as I'm coming over to this side, you can see all the different bits and pieces, and you're going to be able to get some really nice photos and really nice displays from that. Now I did say in the last upload, which I did this morning so I can remember finally, don't know whether to go down in a straight line across the back and then come in, or spin that one and push it in that way, because obviously we're going to come off as a T-piece just in there. So potentially whatever goes in that corner, we could put like a little park in, just so we can still see the front of it. Because what I don't want to do is lose the front of everything. That makes sense, because obviously we can see the front of all of these, and we can still see all of that, no problem whatsoever. You can see that through the camera, and you've got the road. If this was like that, for example, you now can't, and it just gets a little bit tight. It creates a nice street, don't get me wrong, but I want to be able to have it sort of stepped out like we managed to do over here with this. And then obviously as we step out, we're going to have a nice display coming from the Avengers building. Then you've got the Ghostbuster bit. So all of that, that's basically ready now for row plates and tile up to, well, the fan is now in the way, because the fan was, well, it was over there. And that now needs a new home, along with the Jurassic Park gates and the Stranger Things set. Just to name a few bits and pieces. different upload, different day, different worry. So if I stick with the plan of the bank going here, we've got the height. Behind that, you then have the eyeball. Through the base of the bank, we could mix in the water and the lava from the Lord of the Rings. I think that just all makes sense. So now it is just very much a case of what is the best order to have the modulars in. The police station and the bank have to go close together. It just makes sense. But do I want the bank next to Gringotts Bank? Is that going to look silly? I'm talking about sets I've not even got, and I might not even be getting this year. It's just thinking about what would make more sense. So I think we know that that doesn't work. Well, it looks nice. Let's put that in the correct place, and then we can start to adjust everything. We can start to adjust everything accordingly, I think. So police station will move, obviously. We have got the corner unit. We've got the cinema here. Do we put a corner unit there? Or do we put the police station straight there? Or do I put the bank there because it's a corner and we just step the banks and then that goes somewhere else? Do we try and get these two apart? Or do I just do the clever thing for now and put the bank here and I leave space for a base plate? That's probably the best thing. We'll do that to start with. We will do that to start with. So that there. The restaurant is coming out. Obviously the restaurant is an important thing in the Batman Dark Knight stuff, as is the bank as well. So we do need to get a Joker on the roof, obviously, which could be a good crossover and a little bit of an Easter egg with some bits and pieces. Is the palace staying there? That is the question. But we'll put this in first. So this thing is gorgeous. I think it just works. Yeah, that's better. Just makes sense. So we can mess around with pushing that forward or backwards. Having that in front of these two side by side, that just works nicely. Again, it could be angled, because don't forget this is actually the main ride of this, so this could be angled and pushed back and set back in a little bit, but because it's not, because you can see through it, it's not too bad. But I do love all the colours of the windows. You can see you've got the yellows, the greens, the pinks, so it is a beautiful looking thing. And if I was to get the expansion pack for this, it could go in that area with the car, or the cars, because we've got plenty of space to park the vehicles up on that bit, so that is not too much of a problem whatsoever. The question is, can we, or should we, do we need to put a base plate here? Or do I pull this out? Because obviously in everybody's collection, space is tight. If that wasn't there, what should we use? The restaurant, because it's the closest one. Can I? Oh, need to drop that. Doesn't look horrendous. It's a building against a big building. I don't think it's the right building. Maybe it needs to be the cinema, maybe. But we have got all of that space across the back now. I don't know if this is hurting my head, or just this heat. Good grief, it's hot in here. The things we do for Lego displays and collecting, hey? There's nothing else that I think needs to come over. I don't know if we double bank it. I don't know if we step the banks. I don't know if we have a bank there and a bank there. Maybe a corner unit would be a little bit more forgiving. Let's try that. Because if I can get something here, it would be ideal. Because it's just an extra bit. And actually, we've gained adding in the Harry Potter without losing any space, I think. Does this bank look stupid? We'll soon find out. Looks stupid like that, that's for sure. Oh, the roof isn't on properly. Can I get away with doing... Doesn't fit underneath the track like the other one. But does it look a little bit better as a corner unit there or not? I'm sure we'll be able to put something here. Just don't know. If I did that, that fits like a dream. Because you could walk underneath the track. And the track doesn't touch the building. And then we've got the front door of the bank. And then that could just be the extended walkway. So that's not too tight. That then steps in from here. That could work there. But if we did that, I think maybe the police station would have to go where the cinema is. And then we have the palace closer to the museum. Unless... Because the garage I can't make work because it's really difficult to make work unless you've got it coming in off a corner of a city. Obviously this is a theme park. Now don't forget I can push this over and get this track in and over here. So we have got a couple of studs just there. So we've got a bit of a wiggle room. That doesn't look too bad. When that's tiled up with the Harry Potter figures in front of it, that will then come round and come through into the vehicles. When that's clear, I think that would look nice and smart. It's just, I don't think we want a corner unit there. Because that would be raised up. What do we have facing us? What would look nice? We have the police station, the palace side by side, and then put the restaurant over. I've gained quite a lot of space, and I'm not 100% sure how I've just done this, because it feels like there's bits missing, but there isn't. Because if this, for example, was the layout, that would be where the Lord of the Rings thing goes to, like, say for example there. So it's a big old base, and it would eat in to the front anyway, but I think with it overhanging to the wall, we should still be able to get something. We should still be able to get something there. Might have to go on the Lego website just to double check. Just double check that, but I have got a bit of wiggle room for that. We've still got 2 base plates of sets. So we've got 32 by 30, so there's 2 32 by 32s left. And that's with everything in, but it's just not in the right, it's just not in the right order. Do we have something longer? Do we have the museum there? That's a base plate and a half, so the museum went there, it would give us, yeah, because we can't put 2 base plates in, can we? I think it would be Lord of the Rings, museum, and then space out the front for whatever. Like a little park or just something like that. And then as it wraps round, it comes through. I just don't know if that cinema works there. Oh, it's warm. Good grief. Dirty, dirty, dirty. Because over here, we have got the garage. Obviously that is just the end, that's where, and then we've got the club just in front of it, and then we have got the museum piece. Because I guess it makes sense having the restaurant, the police station and the cinema makes sense being close together. because obviously they're all used within the Dark Knight trilogy, as is the bank. But the bank could just be a standalone thing anyway, so that's not too much of a problem. Behind the bank, do we put the jazz club? And just have that with that red and blue look nice against the black? And then we just rearrange. Do we keep everything else the same? Head is hurting. So I'm going to grab a drink, I think, have a quick think, because this camera's now getting very, very hot, and I know what happened last time. So I'm going to let this cool down for 20 minutes, half an hour. We'll carry on. I'll see what I can move around in another 15 minutes or so before this thing then melts. And then I think we'll start to wrap it up. So coming back up the loft ladders, and that is the first thing you see. I don't think that's too bad, to be honest. I think I am happy with that being there, and it does create a side building, obviously with the little alley that way, and then you've got the footpath around it, and I can see all of that. So I'm going to keep that one there. I think we've decided on that one. Now, obviously, the next thing I need to do is that will have to go there to remind me that something is going to go there, and then we are, hopefully then, deep enough from here all the way to the back, because that is 32 studs plus a little bit of space, and then you've got another 16 on that bit. So I'm hoping that is deep enough without doing any measurements whatsoever. Otherwise I've got to do it all again. And I have a tape measure in front of me. I could just measure. What is that? It's the depth. If you've got the set, let me know. The depth of that to that is 14 inches is what it is. So how deep is the base for the Lord of the Rings set? How deep do we think it actually is? Let's have a look. Lego. Trying to do this with one hand is not the easiest thing, is it? Official Lego store. Put you down here so I can use two hands. Oh, grief. Sure it's got hotter up here. Sure it's got hotter up here. So we are looking for the Lord of the Rings. Dimensions is what we're after. There it is, got it in front of me. We are looking at depth is 12. So it's 12 inches deep, and the width of it is 18. So I'm assuming with their measurements, they're going, because you never quite know with the Lego website. So it is that wide. So it's a chunky monkey of a base. So it's that wide, and the depth is a foot. So it's just to about there. So we've got a couple of studs. We've got a couple of studs spare for that. So that should look quite nice. And if it's going to be 18, does that work then with 18? Yeah, that would work if I put the. We'll do that then. We're kind of going to be limited to what can go where if that big thing goes there. But I think that museum will have to go over there, and we'll have to leave a gap and just see what it looks like. Right, that's the first one to go in. Can we make that work? And can I not fall down the loft ladders? And will we be okay getting this off where, if you could see how I am stood right now, it is beyond stupid. Now somehow, this modular I really tuck into, and then I just stopped building it, and it's complete apart from the roof. So I'm not 100% sure what and the reason why I've stopped, but I'm sure there's a reason, which probably means I've lost the bag. Alright, so we want, beautiful, oh yes, yeah, that works straight away. So we want that basically like that. That's your museum. It's just an odd colour, isn't it? It's just a completely different colour. It pops out nicely, and that colour will work. And then you've got the green against the red with the white. 18 is the width. So, did I say 18? Massive, massive thing, isn't it? So, yeah, it will So that's what I don't want to do, is that, because you can't see the pull bit, so this will have to come out just to there, I think, just so we can see, and then we could just put something down the side. We can figure out what's what. Now we have got, obviously I can go this way with the base, or the pull thing spins round or comes out, which is not what we want to do, obviously. But that'll do for now. I think as a rough, that would do. If I need to put one thing in rather than a base plate and a half, it would go there. I think that might be the other option. Thinking all of this out loud with a camera while looking on the Lego website and melting all at the same time is quite difficult to do, but I have just triple checked, and it really is, the base really is 18 inches wide. So I don't think it actually will fit with the base plate and a half there, even though I think that looks really smart there. Do we have the Lord of the Rings thing? Does it make sense, that beside there? It'll do for now. It'll do for now. So I've got to pull the cinema out, haven't I? Right, okay. Can't say it will do for now when we know full well that the actual cinema has to come out anyway. So on the move yet again, I am 100% going to drop something soon enough. How that fitted in that gap, I do not know. But that is a base plate and a half of space, which is brilliant. So hopefully I can now just, will this stand out just as much here. That's quite a little bit difficult to get in. Oh dear. Good. That will fit there. That goes back there. Okay. And that's what that looks like. So we've got that walkway to the museum front door. So you can have it there. And you can see, well, you can see all of that, no problem. So, what's that? 1, it's 2, it's 3 long. Just got to figure again. It's just putting something in that corner. If I'm going to leave a bit, because do you have a park out front? I guess you could have a bar there. Because does the restaurant make more sense there? You've got the hairdressers there. The jazz club went. If I put the jazz club there, I could park the car out the side of it. Or just have like a little parking bay for the car. And then that leaves us with this run. Let's figure out this run first and then just see what space we've got left, because if nothing's going to go there for now, then it doesn't really matter too much. But this is what we're going to be left with at the moment, and I've got to then see if this is the correct decision, because it's life's a little bit easier because you've got a corner unit either end, so that'll have to go at the end. And then we don't go past the green bit because the eyeball goes on there. We do potentially have a 32 by 32 there. I think that with that might look quite nice. Definitely different. Right, okay. So that is moving because I don't really know if this is the best the best way to put them. Now, all of these weren't together in this order, if I remember rightly, in the first upload, because this is where the bank was. Then we've got this really nice restaurant, which is lovely. And then we've got the police station, which again, that all works. Out. Then we could potentially shut the gap with this if we wanted to, because I do like how the pink and the yellow go side by side, and that does look very, very, very clean, those two together. Starting to go a bit dizzy now, not gonna lie. Head is starting to pulse ever so slightly, which is always a worry when I'm here. Ooh, and then the pet shop is there. Now the pet shop could be rehomed. I think I could get the pet shop in over by there. So I have got ideas for this, because we're going to block that off so you can't get round. You've got the walkway down here in front, and you just can't get past the haunted house. So it's going to be that was going to be a dead end. You've got the bookshop, townhouse, town shop. We could potentially put the pet shop there as a random bit of fascia, because it goes with the other townhouses, so all four of those are together. And then I could potentially fit another 32 by 32 in there, and then that leaves space for that over there. Of course, I think the big discussion is I pull the townhouse out and I add in a corner unit, because instead of blocking it off, I could put the corner garage there, and they could walk through the garage, then walk round past the haunted house. And if I did that, I would then put one townhouse over there. I don't know if that would look right. Or do I put the pet shop over there? What do we think? What do we think? What do we think? I think that suits. I think they look nice together. I think that looks really nice together. That looks really nice together. Not sure on the pet shop, and the corner garage does not work whatsoever. Corner garage I don't think can go anywhere else. And then obviously we've got all of this space. That's 1, 2, 3, which obviously we're not going to be using. We'll probably have one like there, the other one there, that one is then there. So that's that done. This road comes all the way down, so that's fine. Custom road plate there into there. That bit needs tidying, and then I think we're good. I do like the fact that it's just stood here. I've got this sneak peek of the museum front door. I think that does look very, very clean and tidy. Obviously the next unit that is going to be announced in a month or two is going to be a corner unit. And I actually have space for it, so it will go there, or it goes over there. I haven't got the John Wick Hotel yet either, which I do like the look of, but I can't really put that anywhere at the moment. I might just have to rotate the modulars about and just have some modulars in the green unit just under there. Now again, with the Joker Manor, it can be angled, it could be forward facing. So I did try that off camera, but I think forward facing, when that's tidy behind, get it all base plated, get all the characters in, I think we're good to go. Clearly not going to do that on this upload. That can just be done as a time lapse at a different time, because it's just roasting up here. Now where the fan is, that is going to be the X-Men Mansion. That's the plan for that. The X-Men Mansion actually going to go in front, and then we've got the diner and the Daily Bugle side by side, obviously for Spidey, because this is our Spider-Man section. And then I've just put that with the haunted house as another ride, which is nice. And you can walk around to the Ferris wheel, into the carousel, and then we've got the table for, well, stuff. So that is how that works. I've got a fingerprint on the lens. Still there, but never mind. Yeah, so that's basically all that. That would need a little bit of TLC and a bit of chopping and changing, which I think I'm going to be doing for the rest of the week before I tuck into the Ninjago stuff, because like I said, it's just too hot to keep this on for too long. Hence why I'm speaking so quickly, because I just want it done, because I don't want to damage this camera. And if I turn it off for ages or carry on with it tomorrow, I'm going to forget where I am, which is never a fun thing. It's like this, for example, there's a taxi there, and how did that taxi end up there when it should be with a set I don't even own yet? I don't even know how some of these sets end up where they are. But I think that's it. I'm not happy with that. I just don't know whether to... I think I might move that in a different upload because it's just too hot now. I'm not doing this on purpose to drag out, but when we do the Marvel stuff, I think we'll mess around with the Marvel and DC section, or mess around with the townhouse or the bookshop. Probably, I'm thinking the bookshop comes out. That goes beside the pet shop. They're the first two that go all the way over. Then that comes out and it goes into the corner. And then rather than blocking it off, we can just use the garage as the actual walkway around. And then I can create the footpath past where Daredevil and the Punisher and everything is stood. And then we can have the graveyard just in front of it down into the Spidey section. And then that bit is done. All of these then can go back on the table and I'll be able to walk over to that way. So that is good. The vehicles themselves, the only one I'm missing is the animated series car. But don't forget, all of these will be on the road. So again, you'd have those with the bikes, or they'll be parked up just in this area just here. So I could now quickly turn that off and make some space in there, or no, like I said, I'll do that as a time lapse. Actually, do that as a time lapse at a different date because that's not doing any harm just there at all. I think it looks better in person than what it does like that. I can't push that way because, well, it just doesn't work, does it? I think if that was kissing there like that, and you can walk under the track, we could get away with it. And then we just put a footpath down the side of the building, and then that comes all the way around, because well, you could get cars down there. You could get some stuff down there, so that's not too much of a problem. And then yeah, modular, something else. We know what that's going to be. Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. A type of unit there. What goes there, I have no idea, but it's going to have to be a forward-facing thing. Can't be a corner unit. It could be a corner unit. It could be this, for example, and it could just face in, because it would just have to be that would be to the back, and it wouldn't make a difference. And then we have actually created like an Easter egg alleyway down to a pub, and that's obviously, we all know what happens in Batman and the alleyway, don't we? So there is that option. But as it stands, I am just going to be moving all these for hours for no reason at all, and I am starting to panic about the camera. So we've achieved the basic of a layout, which is great. When the roof puts up on there and we have everything across the top, I think that'll work nicely. We can do a nice little diorama with the bank, and that's just like a nice little corner off the tee. Obviously, the other thing is that the bank gets pulled out, that gets moved over, and we've just got more space there. Which would look like that would look like that. So if that got pushed around there, that got put there, that got put there, that's what that looks like there. And then you've got all of this space just here, which then you do that with, and that's what you've got there. So do we want a big display thing here? We have a little Easter egg just in that gap with the bank, and then we just lose a base plate. For the sake of that, what looks better? You guys and girls, let me know, because that is still enough space with that pushed over. Probably like that. That'll be enough space for the base of the Lord of the Rings, if, as and when. And then we have that there, and then we've got all this space around it for potential expansion pack as such for this. Vehicles for there. You can see the museum a little bit better, so I don't know. You're gonna have to let me know what you think of that. And then we've got basically its own street with its road obviously in front of it. So it's kind of going to be in, I guess, 3. It's going to be split up into 3 zones now, isn't it? Because when this bit is sorted, once I swap that over with the Marvel bit, we'll have the bookend and then the run. Then it will stop. Then we'll have a bit of an Easter egg with regards to Lord of the Rings going into the Harry Potter, which then leads into the movie. So all of that's there. And then we just got like another street just at the back. But yes, that'll have to do for now, and I will carry on with this later on in the week, and we will start with this over from there. Carry on with the roads, because there are some road plates just randomly dotted about, like here, look. So all of that I've just got to build up. I've got to line all of these up, so that's pushed back. That all lines up perfectly. That then goes in, so it's not horrendously dangling off the table. So I've got to get all of that looking neat and tidy, and then that strip just goes all the way down in front, which, to be honest, would look better if I did that and not had those there, but it's just good for spacing. And then it's just a case of making the diorama with the vehicles, I think. Which is good. Right, so that is it, and I am done. Like I said, I would put you to a time-lapse and spend a lot longer up here, but the second I put this to a time-lapse, it's going to overheat. So what I will do when I do the Marvel stuff, there'll be a Marvel DC standalone upload of just getting the Marvel and DC vehicles into the correct place, and then getting the buildings into the correct place, and then hopefully by that point it would have calmed down a little bit, where I can then put you to a much longer time-lapse without having to worry about this melting, because if it damages the memory card or the camera, it's what I go travelling with, and that would be an absolute disaster. And then we can carry on with this Ninjago stuff, because there's a lot of stuff here to carry on with, because that's all the stuff that is broken. And then I've got to try and get these boxes sorted, get some of these flat packed, and I've got all of this Christmas stuff to build up. But guys, that is it, and I am done, because I am far too hot up here at the moment. I would love to be up here a lot longer, but I'm gonna have to let the camera cool down, and then maybe I'll come up here later on in the evening and do the Marvel DC thing while it's fresh in my head. So that's probably why I look like I don't actually change, because I will do it in the same day. It's just that I can't be up here all day. But again, one more time, you can like the video and subscribe to the channel. That'd be absolutely fantastic. But as always, thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you next one. Ta-da.